Hello and welcome. I'm here with another card today. It's going to be the follow-up card to the last video where I used the positive version of this and kept hold of the negative because it seemed a shame to throw it away, to be quite honest. It's lovely in itself. So using negatives gives you sort of a 2-for-1 really. It's a Sizzix die 664163 and it is the wildflower stems number 1. I'm going to use a textured embossing folder as well. This one is, if you can see it, 665733, and this one's called Damask, and that produces a beautiful result. I have actually already created a card blank, a card panel, and I've already embossed a piece of plain white card with the damask, having first spritzed it with a little bit of water, misted it to be honest. You don't need much water on it at all. You don't want to make it soggy, just need a tiny bit on each side, and then you get a beautiful embossed image and less cracking of the card. So that's already done. We're going to be colouring this. I'm going to use a hello die for my sentiment. I haven't actually got any idea where I got this from. It has a background to it as well, which I'm not going to use today. I think it might have been free with a magazine at some point in time, but I'm afraid I don't know. There are so many dies around though. I've already layered up 2 white layers, and that's my top layer. I've not put them together and all will become clear in time. So first job, having got this ready already because it's used from last time, that's going to be my job to decorate this. I'm going to use luscious powders, and I suddenly realised when I looked at all 3 videos that I've done so far, looked at them all, they were all sort of similar colours, and I thought, oh, I think I better ring the changes a bit. So anyway, I've picked these out, which are fabulous. Luscious is a very good name for them, I have to say. This one is Peacock, this one is Olive Grove, this one is Lawn. Those are my luscious powders. I've picked these out as well just in case I need a bit of other colour. These are Perfect Pearls. This one is called, sorry I haven't got my glasses on, Jubilee Blue, and this one is Mint. So they may or may not get used. I'm just going to use them with water. I believe that Perfect Pearls will set with water, i.e. not rub off once it's dried. I know Luscious work that way, so that's good news. Right, so let's get in a mat so that I can clear it all away easily. This mat, can't remember where I got it from, but they're like those magic, was it Teflon? Don't know whether it's Teflon. Anyway, they're fantastic because they clean up so easily. Brilliant things. So, water, powders, paintbrush, and I'm just going to cover the whole thing in colour this time. Last time I didn't, because I'm not going to use the whole thing. I'm going to pick which bit I use by doing, you know, this business of lining up. So let's crack on with getting some colour on there. I'm not going to tip up the pots like yesterday either. Just going to get my spatula thingy, what's it? And there we are, that's the way to do it. If you saw my previous video, you'll know I made a pig's ear of the... Oh, that one, sorry, I've stopped the sentence halfway through. I could just see all the sparkle in there under the lights. Oh, that's gorgeous. Yes, I made the mistake of tipping up my luscious powders. Oh, and a lot did come out. You'll be pleased to know I've saved the leftover and I've put it into a pot to use another time. Do you know what? I think I've put those a bit close together. Just slide that across a little bit. Are you in? Am I in shot? Sorry, just checking. Oh yes, I think you can see. Phew. So many things to think about when you're filming. Gosh, I have whole new respect for people who do YouTube videos. I'm still such a novice. I'm going to start with those three and see whether I need those in due course. Now, yesterday I also managed to squirt water everywhere, so I'm going to just get a pipette and do it the sensible way. We all learn from our mistakes, don't we? Drip, one drip, and see how that is. And a little mix. Just going to see if I've got little paintbrushes that I can just give a mix. Oh, I know. I've got these funny silicone things. They're like a paintbrush, but it's sort of a silicone end. Can't remember where I got these from. I always say that, don't I? It might have been, could well have been somewhere like Amazon. These sort of generic type things. I'm sure loads of companies do them, however. Right, there's that one. Let's mix this one up. I haven't added too much water just because I can add more as I go, but it's harder to take away. On the last video I did have to dry it off a bit to evaporate some of the water, so that's my reasoning. Clean that one off and then do that one. I also listened to the feedback about whether you like to see a pile of things at the beginning of what I use. I've sort of gone with the majority of responses that I got, which was, we don't really necessarily need to see that, as long as you put descriptions in and perhaps tell us what you're doing on the way. So that's the aim. If, you know, I'm getting it wrong or if I forget something, please do shout out and I will be more than happy to help. Right, so let's go for a bit of a spritz on here, and then we can drop in some colour. Bear in mind it will dry lighter. That's pretty, isn't it? Oh, isn't that gorgeous? A bit more. Oh, look how that moves. Sorry, I'm like a child, aren't I? Right, a bit more colour. Different one. Do you know, crafting is just such an amazing thing, isn't it? It's just, it's exciting. See these things and then they don't always behave like you think they'll behave, or they behave like you think they will, but then you think, oh, I could try X, Y, or Z. I think it's just so much fun. And it makes you forget the world. It's just... They do offer art therapy, don't they, in places. I've seen where they've... And it, you know, absolutely a good thing. Those colours are just beautiful. I do know that IndigoBlu... Kay was saying when I went to the, well, they call it a dirty weekend in Portsmouth, and we made our painter's trays, which you may have seen Christine's ones that she's done, and I think she showed you mine if you've come from her direction. I'm just going to use a bit more of the peacock. Kay was saying that their normal manufacturer for these luscious powders is not carrying on manufacturing I've lost my, oh, there it is. And so they're working on building new relationships and working out what to do next, basically. So if you don't get many choices of luscious powders, it's not for want of trying. They will, as far as I understand it, they will definitely come back. It's just it's taken them a little bit of time, as you would imagine, just to try and sort that out. It must be so hard for these companies when things like that happen. I have every sympathy. And the world is such a funny place at the moment that I think it happens more and more. Right. Nearly got rid of the white. I do want to get rid of the white, and that will sort of become more clear when we go. Quite often you leave a bit of white space, but not today. That olive, what's it called? Olive Grove is, it has got a green tinge to it, but it's really quite gold as well. It's just lovely. And whilst I realise that flowers aren't necessarily this colour, I'm using a bit of poetic licence, as they say. I think I have got to put a bit more of that sparkly olive grove. This one seems to be more sparkly than the others, actually. It's so pretty. It's always worth just using a bit at a time and coming, you know, adding more if you need to. However, if you do, like I did in my last video, put out far too much, I'm going to show you what I did with mine. This is a Tim Holtz tray, I think, which I got actually from IndigoBlu. So I put the spare powder when it had dried in there, and then I put, because I thought, oh, if I tip it up, the powder's going to go everywhere. So I put a bit of water with it, and once that water dries off, then that will have gone solid. These ones have now gone solid. So it's a way of keeping your spares and not wasting anything, because, you know, these products aren't cheap. They're good, believe me, but they're, you know, it does involve cost. So my view is be as economical with them as you possibly can. So that's a good thing to do. Right, let's get this finished and then we can get it dried off. Bit more of that gorgeous colour. If you hear any noises, my husband's working from home today. He's not a quiet person. His typing is 2 fingers. He's quick, but my goodness, does he take his frustrations out on his keyboard. I've never known such. In fact, he won an award at work for the noisiest typer. I said, oh, welcome to my world. Anyway, I'm just going to stop filming now while I just get this dried off, and I will be back in a moment. Now it's dry and I've had a bit of a clear up. So next step is to decide where. I know I've got the tape so it obscures it a little bit, but I can get a pretty good idea of what. Oh, I think that there, that will do very nicely. Let's just check that side, just in case I like it better. Maybe that side actually. Right, good, that is decided. What I'm going to do now is just trim that down. Right, I've trimmed that down now. So it's slightly shorter and slightly narrower than my black outline piece. So it's time to put those together. So wet glue is the best bet here because of it going onto the embossed surface. And I'll tell you what, I definitely need my glasses on for this one. There we go. Just seeing some wispy bits. So I am just going to use my toothbrush just to shift them. They're going on to the tape, so that's fine as long as I don't shift my little bits that I want to keep. And then those bits are going onto the mat. Let's just try this side as well. This just helps get rid of those wispy hair bits, whatever you want to call them. Right, good, that's better. So, wet glue all the way around, nice wiggly line down there. And then around the shape so that it sits where we want it. The tricky bit are those, but let's just pop a bit on and fingers crossed they'll stay when I stick them down. It's these pointy bits that are the most likely to lift, so just try and get a bit of glue on the ends. I'm sorry if my hand's obscuring your view. There we go. I guess I could have cut this out with some sticky tape on the back, but as I say, double-sided tape, sorry. As I say, I really wanted to have wet glue on it anyway, so it's kind of doubling up on the job, really. I know I'm putting a lot on there, but it has got to stick to a bumpy surface, so let's go with that. And in shot. Just making sure I've got the sides covered and I have got my little flower where I want it. Reverse side and a good rub down. Sorry if I'm wobbling the table. I'm just pushing those little tiny bits that are the most vulnerable when it comes to being stuck down. Right, let's have a go at lifting this tape without doing any removal of the bits I want to keep in there. No, it stayed. I think I've lifted a bit of my sparkle though. It's annoying. Probably wasn't quite dry. Let's just take it away. Stick it on there. Right, let's do this one carefully. Do the reveal. There we are. And that stayed put. Good. Oh, that's rather pretty, isn't it? Like that. Now then, as per, let's go for a bit more gold. Just on those bits I want to highlight them without losing too much of the colour. So I'm just going to go tiny bit there, so you can still see the bluey, greeny colours behind, but it does just highlight those bits. And actually, I'm just going to do a little bit on the black as well, because I've got this textured card again. It does show it up more. You could leave this stage out if you don't like the look of it. just leave it out and just leave it black. In a minute I'll show you one I did before that was done slightly differently, and then you can have a look and see what you think. Right, so that's that bit done. My hello wording is going to go, basically what I want to do is put my wording across there, but as you can see, because we've got some height here of the embossed card and the black card, I've got 2 layers, but because of the embossing it's sort of, well, maybe a bit more than 2 layers. So I've got my 2 layers here, and I will just work out where I want the sentiment, how much of this I cut off to go under there, and support this bit. I hope that made sense. I'm just going to stop and give my hands a little wash so that I don't make my white a different colour. Right, clean hands. So back panel. And I've made my black piece of card slightly shorter. So I'm going to try to get that fairly even, and I'm going to put it on the left-hand side. My hello is going to go across here. And because of it being black, I wanted a reasonably chunky hello rather than a finer one, because I felt it needed that lift. So what do I need to support? I need to cut that off about there. Oopsie daisy, because I got, I'm just going to take that bit as well. Sorry, being a bit foolish here. Oh, there we are, that way up. Couldn't work it out. Oh dear. Right, so that's going to go on there. Might be easy to put glue on this bit and then I get it on the right place. It is on the first L. Just have to check these things. Get the angle right. Check it from the front. And push it. Oh, I don't want it all wonky donkey, do I? Don't know, I think my toothbrush might come back again. So we've got a straight line of that extra layer up there. So that should, in theory, fit. Hooray, there. And let's just test whether that seems to be about the same height. So if you can see, although I haven't put foam tape in, it's got some depth because of the embossing underneath. So doing the extra 2 layers just under that bit just supports it, and then it'll all sit at the same height. So we can glue it all together. Wet glue again because of it being lumpy bumpy. Plenty on there as well, as it won't all catch, so do as much as we can. Oh, right way up would help. There we are. Okay, so I'm just looking to line up the same, A, for it to be straight, and B, to have the same margin round those three edges. Once I'm happy, I'm going to use a clean bit of cloth and just press it down. As I say, if you don't like the gilding wax on the outside, don't put it on there, that's fine. You do you, as Tim Holtz says. There we are, glue on that. And we're nearly there. Do you think we need some gold pearls on there? Yeah. Okay. Gonna just line up my supported edge. Get rid of the extraneous. Is that wonky? There's another bit there, look. Pesky things. Sorry, I am a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to these bits of glue. Don't like to see those shiny bits. They really annoy me. What I could have done, which I didn't, was put a bit of gilding wax around the outside of the black, but I didn't. What I have done ahead of time is I've used my Pentel paint marker again in Super Gold, and done some gold pearls, which I am going to put on one there, I think. They do say you should use odd numbers of these things. I don't know whether that's really necessary, but you know, do what suits you, do what you enjoy. If you like it, then that's fine. We've all got different tastes anyway. There we are. Do I want any up there? Well, why not? Funny, isn't it, how you have to kind of go round. I'm going there, I think. Yeah, let's try that. Oh, what's that? Uh-oh. What have I done? Oh, it came off. That's a relief. Right, and then onto there we go. I'm not going to lift that up with foam tape anymore because I've already got depths, plus I've got pearls. So I'm going to sit that on there with a bit of glue, and that will be job done. So it's a way of using the positive from the last video and the negatives from this one. Maximise the use of that card. All these resources that we use are going up and up and up in price. So it really is worth getting as much as you can out of them. Again, do my usual thing of just whizzing the card around just to check each edge, and that looks as if it's pretty straight to me. Clean bit of cloth even. Down we go. Managed to splodgy that somehow. Just going to move that pearl up there. There we are. Right. One finished card. What I did promise to do was show you the other one I made. You can see now why I didn't do the same colours, because It's the same colours as I've been using in the last few videos, but that's an alternative. I did do the gold around the edge instead of the gold on here. So, you know, as I say, you do you. Did celebrate instead, only 3 pearls on that one. But it's just a way of seeing a different colourway and a different way of doing it. But do what you fancy. That's, you know, that's why we're doing crafting, isn't it, at the end of the day? Makes us happy. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.